Hello, everyone. You are listening to Those Other Girls with Mallie and Friends. I'm
And I'm
Mallory,
Victoria.
and we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. Happy weekend!
Yay! What are your plans for this weekend now? Anything big?
This is probably my first weekend that I'm able to almost chill, I guess. I'm going to uh okay, sorry. We have a new software, y'all, and I'm just making sure everything is leveled out. Anyway, I was invited to a St. Patrick's Day event, a St. Patrick's Day
Oh,
party, with
early.
some girls from my church. No, it's
Well, yeah,
Thursday.
but it's like for it to be this weekend. It's a little early.
Just St. Patrick's Day in general with a party.
The party.
Oh, well, it's the weekend before, I
Yeah,
feel like.
yeah.
Well, this weekend, that's the only thing I actually have planned. I have so much to do in general, podcasting wise. We have a lot of things coming up, you guys. A lot that you need to make sure your calendars are cleared and you are ready. I'm gonna have a lot of things podcast wise I need to get done this weekend,
hmm
but I'm gonna carve out that amount of time to do St. Patrick Day things with my friends, with my Bible study. I don't want to, this is going to sound terrible. I don't know if they're listening. I like the girls a lot, but I don't know if I can call them friends yet because we just, like,
You,
I just joined this
yeah,
Bible
yeah. You
study.
just met them. You're acquaintances right now.
Yeah, we're acquaintances right now. If any of you are listening, I really do like you. We just don't know each other yet. So this was probably awkward, but whatever. This is who I am. Anyway, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, this is like my week off between semesters of school, which I'm really anxious about like by next semester. So I'm taking like two classes and it's like a quiz every week. And so I think
Oof.
that's why I'm like anxious about it. But I mean, it's business law and managerial economics. So I really
Oh, God.
like I really don't.
Business law kind of sounds fun.
Yeah, but in like I mean, I was an economics major and I think it's like I'm good at memorizing stuff. So I really hope it's just like a lot of
Yeah.
like memorizing. But I mean,
I
between
hope so too.
other than that, I think just like getting everything like oh, well, I'm getting everything situated house-wise. And then I need to finish building my website this weekend for that political life. Um I can
Can you tell
switch.
us a little bit about that?
Yes. So, thanks for the plug, Mal. But I
Of
am
course.
rebranding that political couple to that political life. Um, and it's gonna be content more because like that political life was kind of like okay, our experience of running for office, and we're not doing that this term. During the midterms, and so I'm like, okay, like how am I gonna like rebrand the blog? And so rebranding it to kind of content of like geared towards voters and so okay, so it's geared towards voters, politicians, people running for office, and I'm calling them activists. So my activists are people who want to get involved but not really sure how, and so kind of providing some insight in that way of like, okay, like maybe like if you like this is how you get involved with the local party. Well, if you don't want to get involved with the local party, these are some local organizations you can do that are not undercover true progressive
That are
organization.
yeah. Yeah. So organizations that are technically non-partisan
Yes,
and
that are true
non-religious, but
nonpartisan like organizations. If you like
yeah.
if you want to work I don't know, like
Turning Point is not true nonpartisan,
correct.
if we're being
Turning
honest.
Point, their mission is getting conservatives and Republicans elected. Where I want to kind of guide people like, okay, like if you want to like with you, it's like okay, if you want to get involved like with abortion, anti-abortion organizations. And even though some may say that's a partisan issue, in theory, really, it is a nonpartisan issue.
Yeah, like Students for Life has helped Democrats.
Yeah, exactly.
Run. They're pro-life.
Exactly. And so
yeah,
really just wanting to provide people with like information as well as explaining like what's going on in the world. So it's like, okay, like we're going to be talking about gas prices today. Do a blog post explaining, okay, like this is policies that have led to gas prices. And so it's like essentially it's like I'm your all-in-one guide to anything political and just explaining information and not I don't necessarily want it like I mean definitely there's because I'm in conservative there is going to be like conservative influence.
Everything has a spin.
Everything has a spin.
Like nothing is completely unbiased.
Yes.
I hate when people think that. I don't care what side you're on, whatever. There is absolutely nothing unbiased. Yes. There's always going to be a spin.
Exactly. So it's definitely going to have like some conservative influence, but it's not going to be like
not like this.
No, I mean this is different. Like we have conservative influence, but because of that, like we vote Republican. But it's like I want to just tell you like what's going on and how you can get involved, regardless of your beliefs. And so I'm gonna have like a section dedicated to voters of like, okay, like this is like the primaries. This is how to like make sure your voter registration and like guide them because there's a lot of really good organizations that can help you like register to vote and make sure like your voter registration is good and all that. And so really just want to be like an all-in-one political guide, whether you want to be just a voter, an activist, or running for office.
Love it. And well, I'm excited to see this.
Thanks. Yeah. So like I've been working on the website and I'm definitely gonna like send it to you to see like there's any like Hicks. Is it Hicks? Is that what? That's not the right word.
Hiccups.
Hiccups, I guess. Yeah.
Hiccups.
If there's any like hiccups or any things like I need to change. I also want to do like a section, of like it's called like I think I want to call it like traveling the capitals, and so like traveling like across like the country and the world and like going to like the different capitals and kind of like what like cool things you can do in the capitals that are political and apolitical. So
yeah. Oh, that's fun.
So we have like a really good and also like I mean I've had this vision that I've wanted to do and then COVID hindered it, but I really want to like travel the state and have like local politicians show me around their district, where they show me like all like their favorite parts of the district, and so that's going to be kind
like
of
a vlog almost, or like a vlog.
Yeah,
like a vlog.
Oh, so that's like okay, that's cool. For even under that political couple, I'm like really wanted to do that during like the 2020 election, but you know, COVID happened.
Yeah. Miss Rona decided to come.
Yes.
Didn't even discuss it with the rest of us. No, but Miss Rona just appeared.
I had other plans, Miss Rona. But yeah, so that's kind of what the plan is with the blog. Like I'm still kind of like hounding out some ideas. But I really think like I've been like thinking about. I mean, how long have I been kind of like planning this rebrand? At least 3 months now that I've been planning this rebrand.
Wow.
And just really like because I'm like I'm not gonna like I rushed into it last time and it was like a great idea, don't get me wrong, but
I think it was, especially for the season you were in.
But we're not in that season and I needed something to be more versatile, and also like I was doing it and Sebastian like helped some, but it was just like, he was just like it's not his thing and it's not something like, and like especially like continuing on, he's like I really don't like, he's like I love it. I'm not telling you not to do it. Or he's like, but it's just not me. It's not. And this was always like my vision in the end. And so just really needed something to where it's like, you know, like I can focus it myself or bring other people on, not just me. So.
Cool. That political life.
Yep.
Really quick, do you hear a beeping every couple minutes?
No.
Okay. Just making sure. I keep getting a notification. Let me see. Is this the... Okay, maybe it'll stop. But no, seriously, that's really cool. I'm excited for that. And I think that's very needed in today's today's
Yeah, and
world
like
in general.
I will say I've changed up my color scheme completely too. So my main color is purple because I wanted
Oh,
it to be like a site where people from both sides can come together to get information.
okay. Okay, I like that. That's good. I'm excited.
Me too.
When do you think you'll have everything ready?
Okay, so I bought the URL through GoDaddy, but I'm building the website on Squarespace because I just realized like I'm just done with GoDaddy. I'm so frustrated with GoDaddy. And so they won't
Yeah, I've
release.
never used GoDaddy
Yeah, so
before.
they won't release. So it's like if you buy it through a certain site, they won't release it to you to switch it to a different site. I think it takes like it's 2 months, I think.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
it's either 1 or 2 months. I think it's 2 months. Um,
That's too long.
and so,
That's
but that comes up
ridiculous.
on the 17th. So like I'm building it right now to hopefully it be
Transfer the.
just because my goal is to get the website done this weekend because I start classes on Monday and then just wait to transfer the domain over and then it will
Okay.
be
Okay.
launched once the domain gets transferred over.
That's so
And then
exciting.
we'll be in
Well,
the
I'm
full
happy for you.
swing. Yes, and so that's one big news. And then I guess the other big news, we moved to Raleigh, so that's where you kind of have the traveling the capitals because I will be traveling my capital of North Carolina and Raleigh and just like going to different places in Raleigh and just really like exploring the capital and really just kind of like learning about my new hometown.
And for those that don't know, Raleigh is the second largest city in North Carolina. Charlotte is actually, and when people think of the capital of North Carolina, they usually think Charlotte, but it's actually Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know,
Yes.
it's actually not Charlotte. I know a lot of people think it is, but it's actually Raleigh.
Yep. So we've moved here. Yeah.
Just a little, a little Charlotte Raleigh beef,
I
but
have
not
no
really.
beef.
And I'm gonna be, yeah. I mean, you are barely a resident at this point. I'm gonna be in Raleigh next week for the Abortion Free Cities campaign with Students for Life, which I'll talk about that at the end. And we'll have to talk later because I think I might come up Friday instead of Saturday because I guess we don't have to talk about it right now. But
that's fine. We have a place.
I think I'm gonna change my plans a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we have an extra bed, so you are more than welcome.
Okay.
To stay here.
Thank you.
Of course, happy to help.
Ooh, you hear that, you guys? Okay. Anything else should we update? I'm trying to think if anything else is going on in my life.
Lent already? I can't remember.
We haven't. So I'm Protestant, and we don't really celebrate Lent, but I know we have a lot of Catholics that do listen. So did you just
ask me over text? I don't know why I thought we had this conversation
no,
already. Okay.
No.
Okay. Because like I think I was like telling you kind of like maybe you were asking me if I decided and I hadn't at that point. I didn't decide till the day of.
I don't think we've talked about Lent at all. I don't think we've ever talked about Lent.
Maybe it might have been Juan.
I think that's
Juan might have asked.
That's your other friend with a podcast.
I'm pretty sure you're the only one.
But what did you choose for Lent?
So Sebastian and I are giving up fast food, and I'm giving up like alcohol, except for when I go to work dinners because I don't want them thinking I'm pregnant. So
okay,
but and that's also work dinners. It's just more social. But like, yeah, I'm giving up like alcohol and fast food. We did have to pause this week on Lent because our refrigerator stopped working, and if we did not go and get fast food, we would be extremely broke.
Oh my goodness!
So
wait, is it the refrigerator?
It's not ours.
Come with
so
the new...
They paid for it.
Okay.
Their landlord deal with it. But yeah, our like refrigerator, like so what happened is like they turned it off when people before us left. But then, like, when they turned it back on, it wasn't working. And, like, we didn't realize it. And, like, I bought, like, $150 worth of food should be like wasted.
Oof.
Yeah. And so,
well, good thing they paid for it though to get it fixed.
And so we've eaten some at home, but like, I mean, we've just had to kind of like go out. Like, we just had to go grab it because it's like, the guy came Wednesday to look at it. He's like, I need a part. And he came today to get a part and to like reinstall the part. And he's like, give it 24 hours. If it's not, then if it's not working, then just give me a call. So like, I can't go and buy groceries until we know that the fridge is working. And luckily, like, I mean, certain foods, so like a lot of like the vegetables I bought, and then like eggs are fine. Like, they don't necessarily need to be like cold. And so I've been like surviving off eggs and avocado. So
okay, well, that's healthy. Eggs and avocado.
Yes, it's my favorite thing.
See, that's one thing. So we've talked about it personally. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. I actually am not looking to get a house. I know a lot of people like that's the thing to do.
Well, we're renting.
I was for a while. But that's what I'm about to say. Like, that's why renting is a positive, because not only would you have been down the $150 for groceries, you'd have to buy a whole new refrigerator if you own the house.
Yeah,
so it's like,
Mommy did that.
Yeah, and like just right now, the way the economy's set up, I don't even want to get into that, but it's kind of easier and more economically smarter to just rent.
And I think like so Michael Bostic from like the Skinny Confidential, he's like with renting, the most you're gonna pay. With a mortgage, that's the least you're gonna pay a month.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that's such a good point.
It's such like a good advice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what that book, I'll Teach You to Be Rich, that's what his whole thing he was saying. And this is what stuck with me the most, and then we probably should get started. But what really stuck with me the most of the thing that he said is, he said that like at the end of the day, people say that a house is an investment. No, a house, like you're investing in the house. Like if anything goes wrong, you have to put money into it. So if you're not set up, if you haven't managed your money enough to be able to put thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into it to change it and do whatever you need to do, then it's just not a wise investment. And that's the reality of the situation.
Yes, I mean, like, we've had to buy stuff, like, just to, like, rent, like...
Yeah, of course.
We've had to buy some stuff, like, for the new place. And, like, luckily, like, we've got, like, a lot of furniture from my parents that they don't use anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, honestly, most of our furniture is from my grandparents' house. So...
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, we've had to buy a lot. I mean, like, we had to buy the bed for the guest room.
What is your sister gonna do?
They still have more furniture, so...
Okay.
They still have more furniture.
It's a race between who gets married first, who gets all the things.
No, not necessarily. Our parents still have enough furniture for her, so... Like, she has, like, a whole, like, another, like, she has a whole room at my parents' house that's, like, they're like, this is all yours, like, take everything out of your room.
Oh, nice. Good for her.
So, but the thing is, so, like, when my grandparents passed away, like, my dad sold my grandmother's house, and it's, like, a 3-bedroom home. And so, like, we've kept all, and it's, like, good quality furniture, so, like, we've kept all the furniture, and, like, they have some of it stored at the barn at the farm, but, like, I mean, that's how, like, we've gotten all our furniture. Like, I don't know what we would have done if that was not the case.
Yeah.
Like, literally everything we own, like, I mean, our whole bedroom suite is from my grandparents. Our kitchen table is from my grandparents. Like, most of, like, if not, we'd have gotten crappy furniture from Amazon because I'm cheap.
And see, that's the thing with, like, for me, that I don't have that opportunity. So when I am finally able to get the heck out of here, I'm going to have to be starting from scratch. And if I were to get married, too, that'd be even harder to start from scratch, because ideally I would like to move to a house.
I will say, so Sebastian didn't have, like, any furniture when we got married, in which it was... Because, like, I mean, everything, like, I brought into it, this is nice, because, like, we didn't have any duplicates of anything. Because, like, he was, like, living with a roommate, and, like, it was just the roommate's furniture and, like, kitchen stuff. And so, like, when, like, like we got married and like moved in together. Like, I mean, it was all the stuff that I accumulated.
So what I should add to my list of things looking for a husband is someone with furniture.
Or a house already.
Their parents can pass down. Or a house already, so I don't have to. No, I'm just joking. I'm not doing the list. Anyway, we should get started.
You know what's nice about this new software is like I can see how long we've gone already.
I know, I love that, and like, we're gonna have to cut that down one day. Oops. Sorry. Ready?
Cheers.
Clink. Cheers. Alrighty.
All right.
Everyone ready for the teacap? Take it away.
Okay, I don't know the Who is Ash thing. That's at the top. That's you.
Oh, that should have been taken out because of our, so ignore that.
Never mind. Okay.
And cut.
So we are actually going to break down for you Joe Biden's war on gas prices. And I think it was really interesting this week. His press secretary, is it Jen Psaki?
Pock something.
Whatever.
Jen.
I don't know how to, it's like P.S. That's what I don't know how to pronounce it.
Pinkowski. I don't know.
Pinkowski. Mike Wazowski.
Pinkowski. That's probably the most country southern way to say it.
No, the gas prices, it's not Biden's fault. It is actually the Russians' war in Ukraine. And it was like, honey, the gas prices during Trump was like in the dollar, like single dollar. It was under $2.
And not only that, the gas prices have been going up since before this war.
Yes. And so, and I will say, Sebastian and I, so when I got a notification from New York Times, I think it was like Wednesday morning, maybe. I think it was Wednesday morning when Biden announced that they were like, yeah, Biden's going to announce that we're cutting off oil from Russia. I'm like, we're going to the gas station right now because I knew that was going to like jump up prices. Yeah. And so we went, and like granted, like
my dad told us to.
Like with the move, like we're pretty much completely empty gas. We spent $125 together filling up both our cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much is it normally?
I think I spent $50, and normally I was spending $20 to $25 pre-Biden.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we haven't left the house, just to say the least.
That's what. So someone invited me to something else tomorrow, and I was going back and because I'm like, first of all, where I live is where all the old people live, so all the young people where all the fun stuff isn't on my side of town. So everything I go to, it's a trek.
Yeah.
So I have to pick and choose who I hang out with and when I hang out with them. And extrovert Mallory does not like that.
Yeah, I think I saw like a meme someone posted. It's like, yeah, now that COVID's over, gas prices are too expensive for me to leave the house.
Right. And what I think is so funny is Joe Biden is now telling everybody, we got to get back into the office. We got to get back into the office. We got to get back into the office. Right as gas prices are up.
Like,
of course.
If people don't go back to work, then like part of his infrastructure plan's like worthless. And it's interesting. I'm very surprised. I mean, like I think like a lot of companies are realizing it's like we can cut down on costs by not having people in the office.
Yep.
And so
a lot of people aren't going back.
Yeah, I mean, I will say right now we're not going back. So we'll see. And
I don't think my dad's going back.
Yeah. But anywho, so
I know.
Yeah, so back to breaking down Joe Biden's war on gas prices. So January 2021, so this was like a little over a year ago, and this is like when Biden got inaugurated. The average price of gas was $2.33. And then on day one of his presidency, Biden, through an executive order, began halting oil and gas leasing on federal lands and water. So essentially, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline.
And we talked about this.
Yes.
We talked about this, you guys. If you go back to, I guess it's a year and some change ago, we talked about his ridiculous executive orders, and elections have consequences.
Yep. And so then Biden, during this time too, Biden directed government agencies to eliminate fossil fuel subsidies by 2022. Go to May 2021, the average price of gas was $3.11. The Biden administration pressured big banks to divest from traditional energy investments. June 2021, the average gas price was $3.15. Biden revokes permit and cancels Keystone XL pipeline. August.
And this is what we all, I think this was kind of around the time when we all remember there was like a crazy spike. The gas pumps were full and they were empty.
I think this was around the time that one of the Colonial Pipeline got hacked.
Yes. You know what? Yeah. Yes.
And so then you go to August 2021, price of gas was $3.25. Biden called on Russia and OPEC to increase their oil production to counter rising prices instead of increasing domestic production, which is ironic because it's like, why are you asking other people to increase their oil, but we're not? Same time, there was increased regulations and scrutiny to punish and sanction the fossil fuel industry. December 2021, gas was $3.39. Biden halted federal aid for new fossil fuel projects abroad. February 22nd, 2022, just moments before Russia's invasion, Biden delayed issuing new oil and gas drilling permits on federal land. The average price of gas is $3.90. And now, March 8th, 2022, the average price of gas is $4.25. Biden banned Russian oil imports. Other European countries have not followed suit, hurting America more than Russia. So the thing with like the Russian oil, that's like 10% of our oil. And so it's interesting, like I saw someone else post this. They were saying if banning oil from another country is supposed to hurt that country's economy, what did banning our own oil do to our economy?
I think I shared that. Yeah. And I'm a teensy bit confused. I wouldn't think 10% of our oil would make this big of a difference if we're doing out of 100%.
10% is still, I mean, it's a good chunk. And so we're going to have to make that up somewhere, but he's refusing to reopen the Keystone Pipeline in order for us to make it up. And so he's claiming he's pulling, and this too, so like we had like I know we had all these reserves set aside, but for like a rainy day, which that would be today. And so part of it is Biden's planning on opening those reserves, which I think it's only like 90 million gallons of oil. But he had also used a good portion already because when he closed the Keystone Pipeline, he opened those reserves just to keep gas prices down and his approval rating up. And so instead of just holding it off for a rainy day, we used a good portion of our reserves that we did not and should not have had to use.
Yeah. And I keep hearing that it's just going to get worse, and it's just going to get worse, and it's just going to get worse. Yeah. But there's nothing we can do. Well,
and that's what's frustrating. It's like, okay, for the rich American, it's not going to bother them. But for like middle-class Americans and low-income people, it's like, I'm going to have to choose between driving, not me personally, but like someone's going to have to choose between driving to work and getting a paycheck.
Oh, well, no. I have to work.
But that's what I'm saying. But, it's like, it's like if they can't afford gas to get to work.
And, I've been like this weekend, another thing I need to do is I really need to like sit down and like write something that I'm grateful for, and just really be in the Word, because like this week has been incredibly hard for me, like economics wise, just trying to balance and work on everything, because I have to drive 40 minutes for my job. So like this,
you have a car.
Yeah, thank God. And thank God I have, like, a Corollas are pretty good cars when it comes to gas. Like, it should not be, like, at the beginning of it, which was in June, so it should be cheaper. But at the very beginning, it was costing me $27 to fill it up. Right now, it's $41. Technically, it could be about $42, $43. But anyway, my whole point being, like, it's very, like, I have to drive 40 minutes to work. It's very difficult for me, and I'm grateful that I'm grateful that I do have a job to pay for it, and I have to move some things around and whatnot. But there are people who are in worse situations, and I feel like I'm not in the best situation, because a lot of my friends too, they don't have to go to work. So really, all they really have to do is go to like church and go to the grocery store. But even in the grocery store, literally, you just have Walmart deliver it. And like, you can avoid using your car.
And what people don't realize, like, prices of goods are going to go up too, because between transportation,
they already have.
Like, it's going to go up even more between like transportation, and then like, I mean, there's like plastic.
Truckers
is oil.
Getting oil.
Plastic is oil.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like frustrating that like people don't understand. It's like, why, and this is where I think President Trump was right. It's like, we shouldn't be dependent on any other nations, or we should not. We should get dependency on other nations.
If we can even, like, this is, I don't know how to say this without sounding insensitive, but if we could even have people making the iPhone in the U.S., we need to just, I really think we just need to be dependent on ourselves. Because if something happens like this, we really don't want to have to depend on other people. Like, we should be U.S. dependent. And I mean, here's the other thing too, but here's the problem with that. Like, I was going to say, I want to start only buying U.S. things, but the reality is, because I don't have a lot of money, it's so expensive. It's so expensive to make things in the U.S. Why? I mean, maybe we should have someone to come talk about that, because I don't understand, other than you have to pay people a livable wage, which is a good thing. Like, that's not a bad thing. I don't know. And the other thing that's kind of like annoying me, and I haven't said anything, I've actually had one or two people say this to me in real life, but one thing that's kind of annoying me is people are like, I don't mind paying extra money at the pump for those children in Ukraine. And it's like, two things are not, like, these are not the same. Like, you paying extra money at the pump is not affecting the people in Ukraine. I'm sorry, it's just not.
That like shared that she shared it last night, and she's like, that is, and she's like a good Republican. She's like, that is your privilege talking, that you think that everyone can just handle and deal with gas going up like $1.50 a gallon. Like, that is your privilege talking right there, that you think that's going to be okay, that a working mother will be able to continue working and feeding, especially when prices on everything's going up.
Right. And also, you taking this extra money in gas is not helping anybody in Ukraine. I'm sorry, it's not. Just like how
she was like, like, you wearing yellow and blue and saying I'm okay with paying a little bit more at the gas pump is not you actually doing something. It does not mean anything. It just shows your white privilege, or not white privilege, sorry, but it just shows your privilege, that
rich privilege,
your rich privilege, that's okay. And I think that's like the irony in the whole like Democratic Party. It's like, like, I'm okay with paying more at the pump. And it's like, okay, but what about like everyone else? Like, what about me? Like, we do fine, but we're not great. And like, honestly, like, price increases have really taken a hit on a lot of Americans, and I mean, especially me. Like, I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling it. I didn't say this before. Part of the reason why I'm going to that party is because it's a free meal. I mean, like, you got to get it where you can get it. Like, you know, like that's where, and I've been going back and forth too. Like I said earlier, it is on the other side of town. So I'm like, okay, gas wise, should I still really do it? Well, you know, and that's the other thing too. I mean, people with the whole, even like with the whole Kim Kardashian, like work. We are working. Yeah. We are trying hard. It's not like we're in just a this is just a really bad time for people economically.
I didn't use a sex tape to get my name out there like you did. Right. And already have and live in Beverly Hills and Bel Air already and already had all this money. Like you were, and she was able to thrive because she had a fallback. Like she knew that even if she failed at business, she'll always be taken care of, and not just taken care of, like living a well-to-do life. And so, like, like, don't get me wrong, like she's a great businesswoman. She works her butt off, but that's not the secret to business.
No. And honestly, and like you said this when we were talking about it, I'm not taking advice from her in that aspect. Yeah. Like that she just isn't the one
like who like is starting a business. What? I wouldn't necessarily take advice from her, but like how she's like been able to like create, like in the Kardashians journal, create the Kardashian brand and create like all these brands from it. Like I think that's something you take away from it. But just like starting out as a businesswoman, like
no, I'm not taking her advice. Once I get to that $1 million mark with my business, okay, Kim, where do we go from here? But I mean, Mallory literally counting coins to make sure I can pay for the software and whatnot. No, I'm not taking your advice. Like this new software, like, so, you know, and once again, like, I'm really trying not to complain. I'm just trying to be real and like honest about like the situation. And if the other thing too, really quick on what doesn't work. Pouring out your Russian vodka, I think is hilarious. God. That has zero effect. Well, and it was like hilarious.
Sebastian's opponent, for when he ran, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm calling in a ban on Russian vodka," and I'm like, "Well, maybe you should call in a ban on Russian oil, and that would do a lot better than pouring out your vodka, sir." Like, I'm sorry.
That literally makes no difference.
And it's just so funny. And this is something I also want our following to realize. Like, the Democrats are pulling hard on this Russian-Ukraine war because that's the only thing they have for midterms. And so it's so funny, like, Sebastian's, like, opponent from 2020, like, now the only thing, like, he's posting about, it's, like, Ukraine. He's like, this is what we're doing for Ukraine. This is, like, look at me volunteering. And like you're seeing this a lot of Dems, it's like, look at me volunteering with this drive for goods for Ukraine, and like we should be doing this to help Ukraine and that to help Ukraine. Like I'm not saying like that's not like a bad thing at all. Like I'm happy they're doing that, but the only reason why they're doing that is for votes in November. It's like, and that's the only reason why like it's I don't want to say that's the only reason why it's getting highlighted as much as it is. But, like, I think that's the reason, one of the reasons why, like, the Dems are all of a sudden, like, we gotta do this. We gotta, like...
Everybody's talking about it,
about it. And it's, like, it's a distraction from, like, all the crappy policies the Dems and Biden have put into place the last 2 years.
And I think we can also recognize that, like, for example, what is happening in Ukraine is awful, sad, and terrible. I feel so bad for the people. I don't necessarily, I'm supposed to upload James. James needs to send me the file, but we talked a little bit about it, and, you know, I'm not on Team Ukraine, Team Russia. I'm not doing that, because I honestly don't know enough about the conflict to pick
I don't know enough.
A geopolitical team, but I do know that there's humans that are hurt on both sides that have nothing to do, that just literally have nothing to do with it. It's just two leaders mad at each other, two governments.
I think we can both agree we're anti-Putin.
Yes, I can definitely say that. I don't think Putin's like
Russian
this.
People have, and especially these Russian soldiers, I don't think they're aware of what's going on. Like my understanding is they've been told something different. I mean, they're attacking civilians,
And
which that's the scary, sad thing, is how they're
so
attacking
that,
civilians.
yeah, that
But
that's
I
awful.
think
I'm not going to touch on that. I'm talking about Mary Sue, who no longer can use PayPal, who no longer can use her iPhone, who connects with her family through Facebook because they're concerned about how she's doing. I'm talking about not Mary Sue, Olga. I'm talking about Olga.
Anastasia
is trying to connect with her family. Anastasia in Russia. I'm talking about them. Like, I do feel bad for the people in Russia who are just trying to live.
And I think too, it's like,
the average us.
I think
the two girls on their podcast.
My understanding is, I think the enemy is Putin and like the government, because like, I mean, look at what they're doing. Like, they're silencing the media over there. They're arresting people for speaking out. And so like, I think like the average Russian, in my understanding, is like, they're completely like against this. Like, I mean, they are protesting in Russia, for crying out loud.
And I'm gonna say this, and I hope this doesn't get us canceled, but I'm gonna say it. I really hope that nothing happens to the US, because the way, for example, Students for Life shared the picture of the maternity ward, and people immediately went, well, how do we know this is true? How do we know that she's not a crisis? Instead of like, oh my gosh, they bombed the maternity ward. Oh, that's awful. Their first immediate reaction was, this can't possibly be true. Fake. Yeah. That was what people were, and nobody's gonna have sympathy for us. Nobody's gonna.
But I will play devil's advocate with you. I think it's like, we've been given so much propaganda the last couple of years that people don't know what's real and what's fake, and they can't trust the information they're given.
And we know that a lot of the things, some of the things that have come out are fake. We do know that for sure. But I cannot fathom looking at a picture of a bloodied woman, pregnant woman from a maternity ward, and going, fake, boo, like, this is fake, I can't believe you're sharing. And it's like, I just wouldn't say anything. Like, because I wouldn't say anything until I had more information. It literally recently happened, so we really don't know either way. But I don't know. To me, that just lacks so much compassion. So, and it could very well be fake. Absolutely, it could. I don't know. I'm not researching it enough to know, but I'm going to err on the side that it's real until I know that it's fake. And I'm concerned that, like, if something were to happen in the U.S., everybody would be like, who cares? They didn't care about us.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. That just really concerns me.
Yep. Well,
last thing we'll say about this is, I don't know if you saw Pete Buttigieg. I can never say his name. Did you see his tweet or his comment?
Like, hey, like, something about like gas prices. He's like, we'll just buy an electric car. And it's like, honestly, we started looking at it with how prices. We looked at a Tesla. I think the cheapest one is $40,000.
Yeah, so if you can't afford gas, I don't understand how, like, you can afford a Tesla. Like, it just... Yeah. So this person said, Mayor Pete said today that people struggling with rising gas prices should solve the issue by buying electric cars. In related news, homeless people should also buy houses so they aren't homeless anymore. Thanks for the tips, Marie Antoinette. Which, that was funny. Yeah. But no, seriously, like, that's so, like, out of touch.
And this is kind of the issue I have, because my understanding with, like, Trump's cabinet, he picked people that had experience in this. Biden's cabinet is people he owed political favors to. So, like, Pete Buttigieg, he has no experience being head of infrastructure. Like, if you're head of infrastructure, why would you say that comment to someone?
Because at the end of the day, he has no idea what he's doing.
Like, he was mayor of a small town,
and he can do that. He probably can.
I mean, the only reason why
buy a Tesla.
Oh yeah, definitely. The only reason why South Bend was on the map is because of Notre Dame. But
I didn't even know all that.
I don't know. Like, I'm honest to God curious how him and, like, his family has money. Like, I don't know. I'm assuming he came for money considering he went to
Is it?
Harvard.
And I'm thinking family.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Maybe
Um,
like maybe they're
but I mean,
old money.
I mean, his husband was like a teacher, and I don't think he came for money. It's my understanding.
So this is what I've realized. So I've been trying to figure out like how are rich people like how like or how are people how are rich people doing this? Like how are people like and what it is when your parents are okay, they're able to open up. Maybe you're not like filthy rich, like, you know, celebrities, but if your parents are okay, then you're able to do certain things. Like one of my friends, they have zero college debt because their parents worked for a college and they did an exchange. So they don't have any student loans, not near one student loan. And their parents also bought them a car. And when their car was too old or whatever, they just traded it in for a new car. So they have a decent car. Their rent, and because of their credit isn't messed up. So they can get a decent apartment. Well, their rent, they split with their parents until they're married because their parents want to help, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah. If anything, I'm jealous. So like,
but that's how the rich keep getting richer.
Exactly, because what I realized, if you can if you can do certain things without adding the debt, and 9 times out of 10, like people act like, yeah, I just did this without the debt. No, you had help. Like your parents worked really hard to do X, Y, and Z. So then you're able to do this, which once again, I'm helping those people who are out there like me. Like I don't have that help. That's not something I have. Like I don't have that help. I'm blessed to have to live with my parents. That's a whole nother story. But like, that's the only quote unquote help I have. So like, I'm trying to help. This isn't, me ragging on rich people. I hope my kids are like, I want my kids to be privileged. I want my kids to be, I was listening to this comedian. He was like, I want my kids to be those stuck up kids that go to people's houses asking for steak and like, grapefruit juice. I'm like, that's what I want to. I want my kids to go into people's houses asking for grapefruit juice. But anyway, my point in saying is like, that is, so when sometimes you're kind of further back because you have to have all these other extra things. So like that's how, like you said, that's how the rich can continue to be rich because they don't have to start from the same place where some of us have to start. So that also just shows like we just have to work hard. And once the world gets set back, elections have consequences, our hard work can actually like follow through and like can actually make a difference. But speaking of working hard, our sponsor today is Little Co. You should listen to our episode with the founder, Brooke. She started this job that she has, her small business, as a passion project in 2019. She left her nursing job to pursue this full time. All of the bows and scrunchies that she sells are wholesale through small U.S. businesses, and everything that's apparel is designed by her, and no items are purchased through mass resellers. Everything is handmade, and their goal is to wholesale through more and more small businesses so that all the customers know that their items are sourced, who is making them, and ultimately can be reassured that when they spend money with them, they're going to wholesome families who are trying to create a wonderful life for themselves, which is also just adding that on. Like, this is a perfect example of like, this is how you can move up and move out, is starting businesses and like working your way through that. And they also want to say that their company is 100% scripturally based and they do not cave to cancel culture. I'm not wearing it, but I got their, one of their shirts, and if you use the code those girls, you get 10% off.
All right, so I'm gonna do an audible. Our next story, I'm just gonna read, and then you like do like one little comment because we're running long. Because I do think it's important to know this information. All right. What we know and don't know about the arrest of U.S. Olympic champion Brittney Griner in Russia. It's still not clear exactly when U.S. basketball star Brittney Griner was arrested or where she is now. Griner is 31, is a championship-winning player with the WNBA's Phoenix Mercury, and spends her off-seasons playing for the Russian team UMMC Ekaterinburg. Now the mystery surrounding her detainment in Russia has come to symbolize the growing tensions between the U.S. and Russia during Russia's continued invasion of Ukraine. The Russian Federal Customs Service said an American was detained at Moscow's airport after being found with hash oil. The Russian Customs Agency said in a statement a U.S. citizen was detained in February 2022 after flying to Moscow from New York, but did not say what day. The Customs Agency said the U.S. citizen was placed in pretrial detention and said a criminal case was underway for smuggling significant amounts of narcotic substances. The offense carries a potential punishment of 5 to 10 years in prison. Griner was in Russia for work, playing for UMMC, where in 2021 she helped the team win its 5th EuroLeague Women's Championship, wrote Tamron Sproul, a journalist who covers women's basketball. A member of the U.S. Armed Services Committee said it's going to be very difficult to get Griner out of Russia. Our diplomatic relationships with Russia are non-existent at the moment, Democratic Rep. John Garamardi of California told CNN on Monday.
Woof. My quick comment. This is the absolute worst time to accidentally get yourself in a situation like this. She could not have picked the worst. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable for her.
Yeah.
This is terrible timing. Terrible.
Yeah. But I think you made a point to me. It's this is, just remember, when you go to another country, you have to follow their rules. Regardless.
Yeah.
Because it's it's very difficult being, getting in trouble as a non-citizen in another country. Look at what was that case in Italy where the girl...
Italy. Amanda Knox.
Amanda Knox. And it's just, very difficult because, their laws are very different than our laws, and kind of you're having countries working together, and it's just a lot of it's a lot more challenging than if a citizen got in trouble in their own country, because it's just a lot more diplomatic laws that they just have to figure out. And so it's just when you go to a different country, just make sure you are following the rules.
Don't play around. You guys, seriously, don't play around.
Yep.
Other countries are not going to be as nice to you.
Yep.
Okay.
So next story, and this is what I kind of want to have a little bit more discussion on. Jussie I can't say his name. Jussie Smollett. Attorneys file emergency motion seeking release from jail. Smollett was sentenced to 150 days in Cook County Jail following his conviction for lying to police about being the victim of a hoax hate crime in 2019. So if you remember, he hired 2 people to beat him up for being, was it gay?
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, I'll rehash it really quick. I'll be quick. So he said that he was outside going to Subway at night, a black man that's gay, outside late in the cold.
And he's from what, the show Empire?
And he was the show Empire. And he was walking, minding his own business late at night, outside in the cold in Chicago, going to Subway. And some guys came with MAGA hats on and put a noose around his neck and threw something on him and said, "This is MAGA country," and they called him the F word that's used in a mean way to gay people.
A gay slur.
This is what he said. A gay slur. Yep. All that to say a gay slur. So he said all of that happened. I remember when this happened, I remember thinking, this is very sketch. And I'll say this, I can make this joke because I'm black, but I just remember, I don't know too many black people that are going to be outside in the cold like that. Also, too, you're some rich man. Why don't you just have somebody, deliver it to you? If it's that late at night. I just remember thinking, and then realistically,
or going to ride the subway?
He was getting the food Subway. And then, the other thing, I was and I don't remember if I thought of this or if I heard this somewhere, but what is the Venn diagram of MAGA people that watch Empire, that not only watch Empire, but watch Empire and would recognize the gay character? What is the Venn diagram of that? Realistically.
My first thought is, what MAGA people are in Chicago that are, downtown Chicago?
Yeah. Late at night.
I'm like, I'm sorry, but that is like not a Republican.
And no, and I knew it was fishy from the jump. People on other, oh my God, my heart. But I will say, for all Trevor Noah and his ilk does, they did a hilarious, I'll have to link it so you guys can watch it. They did a hilarious spoof of it, making fun of him, like against Jussie, which I think is, I appreciate that about them because, you know, I did not mind the Daily Show until Trump got elected. And then it literally was just anti-Trump Republicans are stupid. It stopped being funny and it stopped being about just random stuff. Like, they used to have interesting stuff.
A lot of late night hosts kind of lost their, well, after Trump got elected and all their jokes were about Trump, they kind of were like, you know, this is not funny.
No, they stopped being funny. But anyway, so yeah, that's what happened. And now he's finally getting his comeuppance. But I went back and play it really quick. Have you heard the video?
No. Well,
okay, I'm going to play it really quick.
Was like, 150 days? Like, that's it? That was like my thought. I'm like, that's nothing. That's like roughly 5 months. If that.
He's a rich celebrity.
Like,
he's a rich celebrity.
Like, I'm sorry,
to be honest,
he's a hate crime and used like police resources. I think people get longer time in jail. Like, I thought you get at least like a year if you just called 911 for no reason at all.
Oh, I didn't know about that. But I'm gonna be honest, I thought because he's a celebrity, he wasn't going to get any jail time. So I'm happy that he got some jail time. But that's very because he could have started it. Well, he also could have started a race war.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe not started a race war. Like, maybe he's not that important. But he could have started something.
I thought he should have gotten, like, more time. I was thinking, like, a couple years.
Yeah, no. Nope, just 150 days. But on, I think it was World News or Inside, one of them, they showed, like, the jail that he's in. It's in a Chicago jail. I feel sorry. I will say this: he's gonna have a tough time. I doubt they're gonna put him in the same population.
I just looked this up. A 911 prank call can get you up to 1 year in jail. Just a 911 prank call.
Oh wow, that's good to know because I feel like people do that, but are never receiving a replicate. But wow, that's crazy. He gets less time than a 911 call.
To a year, but it's like there's like a whole investigation. Like it's different between like prank calling 911 and like having a whole investigation go into this.
To me, the wildest part of all of this is how he's still saying he's innocent. Like I feel like at some point I would just stop talking.
There's documentation.
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen to this really quick.
Suicide. Okay? I am not suicide. I am innocent, and I am not suicide. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years, and the fears of the LGBT community. Your Honor, I respect you, and I respect the jury, but I did not do this, and I am not suicide. If anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself, and you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I feel like, heck, if you lied about the attack, what makes me think you're not lying about you not being suicidal? You know what I'm saying? That was my first thought.
Here's my opinion. Trigger warning, I guess. I think that he's going to try to kill himself.
That's what I was thinking.
Because it gives him... Yeah, I think he's going to try to kill himself because it gives him...
the sympathy.
It'll continue his legacy. He'll get the sympathy that he wanted. But now that he said all this, now it's kind of suspicious. Because even a conservative I followed tweeted something like, I wonder if there's something... That's interesting he said that. I wonder if there's something more. Did he have any connections with Hillary? And it's like, no, he didn't have any connection. He's an actor trying to get more attention. Yeah. He probably needs some mental health as well.
I don't... Because, it's not like, there's clear, definitive evidence against him. That's what I don't get.
That's what I'm saying. There are... they have the conversation with the Nigerians.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can't tell me that a Nigerian is wearing. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. It's not funny, but like, are you saying the Nigerians put on whiteface and you couldn't tell with their Nigerian accent?
Yeah.
And not, like, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I just.
Well,
like something's wrong.
but also, like, but think about it.
But I guess it's one of those things, like, once you start lying, you got to keep it up.
Think about
I don't
it
know.
too, like,
I don't know.
how, like, is it mentally disturbing, is the word, that you feel the need that you have to orchestrate this whole fake attack.
I know. That's terrible. The thing that also, too, like, this is awful. How he kept the noose around him. No, and people have said this, and I'm going to echo this as the relative black person on this podcast. No black person is going to have a noose. Like, if someone puts a noose on you, you're not going to wait around for the police.
Wait, he kept it on?
I wanted to show you the noose. He kept the noose on. He waited for the police to show the police he had the noose. There is no way in heck I would keep a noose on my neck to show the police. Like, what? That,
Yeah,
like,
it's just, like,
tiny things like that. I was like,
attention.
and it's sad.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why he's still keeping it up. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, any other closing thoughts on this? So I'll go to our final story.
No closing thoughts. Our final story is brought to you by Culture of Life 1972. Use our code Those Are the Girls 1972 to get 10% off. Y'all know about that place. It's great. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this is like really heartwarming for me, and I'm grateful Mallory put it in. Tiger Woods was recently inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame this week, and everyone knows I grew up playing golf. Tiger Woods was my hero. He was my, like, that's who I looked up to. And so, okay. So you defy the odds every time. Tiger Woods breaks down in tears as he's inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame by his 14-year-old daughter, Sam. Like, I'm getting chills just reading this, guys. Tiger Woods was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame on Wednesday by his 14-year-old daughter, Sam. He broke down in tears as he spoke about the lessons of hard work his late father instilled into him when he was inducted. Woods, 46, also mentioned that as a Black and Asian golfer, he was not allowed into the clubhouses at golf clubs, so he worked on improving his game. Sam said he instilled the same values into her and her 13-year-old brother, Charlie, calling her father a fighter and saying he's defied the odds every time. Woods has won 82 victories on the PGA Tour during his long career and 15 majors. He won his 5th Masters after receiving back surgery. So,
wow, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, he's had a lot of back issues.
That's amazing.
The last 15 years is why he hasn't been like he played. I think he played and won like a major tournament, and then like the next day had like back surgery. Like he played through the injury.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I guess golfing, because you have back issues too,
Yes.
so I guess golfing does that to you. Yikes.
Yeah. I mean,
well,
mine. Yeah. It just yeah. Because it's just like a lot of pressure on the back. And it's like I will say like your average golfer that goes like, and like I was like highly competitive, like not like Tiger Woods level competitive, but like I played a lot, practiced a lot. I was highly competitive.
No, but you went to college for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like
I mean,
it's just
you're not just some chum that goes out there.
Yeah, it's not like you're a weekend golfer. Like it was a lot of like. It's a lot of strain on the back, and I mean, like people are like, "Well, golf, like you can't get injured." It's just like it's not it's not like football. It's not like a rigorous sport, but it's actually like I mean, it's very challenging on the body. Like I mean, I can tell you how many friends I know that's like had to have surgery because of a golf injury. Like
what I'm guessing is it's probably a lot of the repetitiveness. Of doing the same motions and then you have to do it a certain way.
And
I'm sure that's what
because like you swing like a certain way. So like my body's like I like go like one way like all the time, and like in theory like you should be swinging like if you swing right-handed one time, you should be swinging left-handed the next time to kind of like balance out your body. But I mean, that's a theory. You can't actually
No,
do that.
who does that?
But
Yeah.
it's just like very different than like a lot of like other sports, like injury wise. So
Yeah. I just wanted to add one last thing and then we can wrap it up. I love how it says that as a Black and Asian golfer, he was not allowed into the clubhouse at golf clubs, so he worked on improving his game. How amazing is it that some of those people who would not allow him in had to pay money to see him, that were probably betting on him, that probably they probably were buying his memorabilia on eBay, and they wouldn't even let him in.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Stories like that, just love it. Love to see it. How many people probably ignored him, didn't acknowledge him, and then all of a sudden are like, "Hey, man, you want to da da da?" And he could be like, "Oh,
Yep.
I love it. I
don't
love
know
it."
if I finish it. There was like a really good documentary on HBO about Tiger Woods, and like one of the episodes is like, yeah, like after he won the Masters in like '97, he really became like the face for like, I guess not, I guess kind of racism in the sport, but he became like the advocate. Like that's all they wanted to talk about was like dealing with race, especially in a very like, I mean, and still today, a very white dominated sport. And so like, I mean, he became, and that's why because I think he has admitted like he struggled with like drugs and alcohol, and like that's kind of what led to like his addictions. Just like he received a lot of extra pressure being like pretty much the lone African American in golf, and being one of the most successful African American athletes in the world, and like trying to just deal with the pressure of like having like to be that person you looked up to, especially for African American children. And it was just like a lot of pressure for him that he actually struggled with, because all he wanted to do was play golf. But golf got him all this attention that he actually like didn't want at all.
Wow. I mean, I can't even imagine being that high up and that important, feeling that pressure. And I feel that pressure in friendships.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the only Black friend for a lot of my friends. And sometimes I feel like, okay, don't be too this, don't be too that. I gotta be like this because I'm the only Black person they'll ever interact with probably for the rest of their life. So I don't want them to have a bad opinion.
Yeah.
And like, I can't imagine having to do that for the entire sport/world.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I think that's something that
and I think too is like it's a little different too, because it's like, yeah, like you could say that about like Michael Jordan and like all the football players, but like they have other African American colleagues that can also take the brunt of the pressure. Where with Tiger, it was really just him.
I can't name another Black golfer other than this cute guy I follow on Instagram.
Who?
But he's not famous. Okay, so his name is James.
Okay.
Not my brother, gross. And he's like this comedian. He had this show on Comedy Central called Hood Adjacent.
Yeah.
And he just talks about growing up like Black, or like he was Black, but he went to a private school. So everybody thought that he was like hood, but he really wasn't. But all of his like white private school friends were like, yeah, you're my Black friend, you're da-da-da. So he just talked about growing up Hood Adjacent, and he plays golf. Like that's, I mean, what more private school thing can you get other than playing golf? But
I mean, I don't
know any other Black golfers.
Yeah, I mean, the only other one I can think of is Harold Varner III. He's actually from Charlotte. He played at ECU, and
what's his name?
Harold Varner III. And
I think I'm friends with this person on Facebook.
I don't remember where he went to high school. But he goes by like HV3, I think, is on his social medias. But he's like the only other like African American golfer I can think of.
Oh no, I'm not really on Facebook. Huh. He looks familiar, but no,
he's from
like way older than me.
I think.
Yeah, he's from Gastonia. Gastonia is not Charlotte.
Sorry,
common mistake. Common mistake. It's always funny when people are like, "Yeah."
Hilarious.
Okay. What if he can come on the pod? How many followers does he have?
He's a Republican too.
Oh, and he's a Republican?
So, but don't quote me on that.
We should get him on the pod. Oh, actually, like, it would be fun to get him on the pod and get the guys on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we would talk about, but because the guys want to talk with you more sports stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But all right, well, that's all I have.
But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure you rate, review, subscribe, like, follow, interact with us somehow on whatever platform you're listening to. Also, we have our anti-abortion social club hot pink shirts. We are taking back the color pink. They're available on our website. We have some cool events coming up on March 21st if you live in the Charlotte area. We have the Pro-Life Future Charlotte's True Women Empowerment event, where we're going to have a speaker who is the director of a women's center. We're going to have her speak. Go to our website for more details on that. On March 26th, we're going to be partnering with Love Life, and we're going to be at the Love Life March. And wear your hot pink. The pro boards will not know what hit them because they won't know what hit them if they see a bunch of hot pink. They think that's their color, but it's actually ours. So come to that. Head over to our website. If you have any questions about that, please reach out, email, write, text, call, however you want to get in contact. But seriously, speak with us. Trying to think of anything else. We will be having some more. We're going to be doing more of the political Gorgeous Girls Vote coming up in the next coming week, so be prepared for that. Also a reminder for people in North Carolina, check out your new district. Woo woo. It was decided, they're going through with the maps, so check that out if you live in North Carolina. If you don't live in North Carolina, you should still check it out too, because your primaries and special elections are coming up, and they're coming up fast, and you don't want to miss that, because these are elections that Republicans can win because people just don't really go to them. So this could be our time to shine. Anything else, Vic, I should add?
Nothing else from my side.
Alrighty, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye, guys.